This podcast has been brought to you by Savior Pest Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to start. Hey guys, what's up? This is Phoebe.
And this is Mike.
You're listening to the Mike and Phoebe Show, and joining us today in studio from Savior Pest Solutions is Julio Contreras. He is the owner and operator, and Daniel Martinez, who is the secretary there. They are fellow members of the Perris Valley Chamber of Commerce. Hey guys.
Woohoo!
Hey there, we're so excited to be here.
Good morning.
Hey, we're so happy to have you guys here. Now, I'm going to run over their bio for the company. After dedicating nearly a decade to pest control industry, owner-operator Julio gained extensive experience working with several renowned companies, many of which are eventually acquired by overseas entities. The constant cycle of buyouts grew tiresome, led to Julio to reevaluate his priorities. He's been dissatisfied with the rigid corporate structure where individuals often feel like mere numbers. I get that. Julio yearned for a more personal approach. Savior Pest Solutions believes in fostering genuine relationships both with their clients and within his team. Savior Pest Solutions services encompasses a wide range of offerings, including general pest control, residential and commercial rodent proofing, trapping, and more. Unlike many of their competitors, they refrain from binding their clients with contractual obligations. Instead, they prioritize cultivating a desire among their customers to stay with them, driven by the quality of their service and the trust they build. That is a great background of your company, Julio. It's always inspiring to hear everyone's journey and how a company was built. So you told us a little bit about in your bio how you started your company. Do you want to share in detail, like bring us back 10 plus years ago? What was your mindset? What gave you the idea? You know, you're in the industry already. You're tired of the corporate rigmarole. And what inspired you then to work with Daniel in creating Savior Pest Solutions?
Yes, 10 years ago, pretty young, still going to school at the time, really didn't know what I really wanted to do with my life. And I knew that I needed to get a job. You know, it's 2021 and it's time to get real. But yeah, I was going to school, studying criminal justice at the time, and I needed to find a place where, you know, where it was flexible to work and to do, you know, schoolwork and get to school on time. And then it was the time where you can actually find jobs on Craigslist, you know, where it was still kind of legit, where it wasn't full of scams. Daniel here actually found the first posting for, the job. It said, pest control. And we're like, looked at each other and like, what is pest control? Like, we grew up in neighborhoods where we didn't know what pest control was. Everybody just lived with the bugs. You know what I mean? So I'm like, dude, what is pest control? We're going to be like chasing raccoons? Like, what is it? You know? But the thing that was very exciting about it was like, we'll train, no experience needed. And it was like $3,000 a month. And we're like 20, 21. And we're like, dude, that's a lot of money for our age. Like, let's do it. You know, we get our own truck, you know, we get licensed. Like, let's go see what's up. And it happened so fast. We went to the interview, got hired on the spot. You know, we had to do 2 interviews, and then about like 3 days later, we're already there training. And beyond that, pest control, I've learned that it's something where it's really special. It's one of those industries, like once you get into it, like it just sucks you in and you can never leave, just because of the workspace that you're in. You're always out and about. You're meeting different types of people every day. You know, you connect with a lot of people, and you're always on the go. You know, I'm a type of guy where I just really can't sit behind a computer all day. I love being outdoors, you know, just being involved with the community. You get to know your neighbors real well, you know, and just made a lot of good connections. And that's what really, you know, kind of grounded me there, just because how I grew a lot with a lot of people, you know, just by being their technician. I became more than just that after a while.
You know, I would definitely agree with that, because at my old job, we also got to know our technician back then. Every month we would see him. His name is Mike. Not this Mike.
No,
Mike.
not me. No.
And it was always awesome to see him, because you saw him last month. You're wondering, how's he doing? Yeah. Then he'll chat a little bit. So I can definitely agree that you build a connection with your clients, even though they're, you know, your clients. You stay professional, but you kind of become friends a little bit, professional friends. Yeah. You know, still have that boundary, but it's always nice to see someone on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So he finally found his destiny to actually kill bugs.
Yeah. He really did.
So then, Daniel, can you elaborate on the range of clients your pest control company serves, and what specific pest management services do you provide to address their needs effectively?
Ooh, well, this is more of a Julio question, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we do service both commercial and residential. Everything from rodents, bees, ants, spiders, cockroaches, and everything in between. I think the only thing we don't service is termites. That's a whole nother license and just a whole nother ball game. But if you want to elaborate a little more, he's the one with the most technical skills here.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So I guess to start off with Savior Pest Solutions, one of our strong suit is actually rodent proofing and trapping. That's something that I actually grew a big passion for because it's a lot of investigating. Starting a job where you're walking into and there's like rats in a house or in the attic and you're hearing the distress inside the house where they can't sleep, you know. So I walk into a situation like that and they're begging me for help. Let's get rid of these rats and how quickly can we do it, you know. But it's a game essentially because rats are very, very smart, you know. They're not some dumb little creature just running around in the yard. They are smart. They know what a trap is, you know. They know you're there and they know when you're not there. But yeah, it's one of our strong suits. We go around the whole structure looking for all entry points. You know, we go on roofs, underneath houses, seal up all entryways, you know, set traps. You know, we even do disinfecting. So if there's like rodent droppings everywhere or urine and stuff like that, we actually have a service where we can clean all that stuff up and even remove and replace some of your insulation that's been, you know, ruined by rodents. But it's just great to see the satisfaction in people's faces once we've caught like 4 or 5 rats and they're no longer hearing any noise. That right there is something that we take a lot of pride in, you know, because we're not just some company going around and spraying foam and just random holes. Like we do legit work. We're using concrete mix, metal flashing, you know, materials are going to hold up in your house, you know, so we're not just out there spraying random stuff. Like we very, very detailed to what we do. But yeah, and then beyond that, just your regular maintenance with spiders, ants, cockroaches, fleas, and all that stuff.
Just the other day, you were up in the attic killing some bees.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, we really hate when we get those calls because, you know, bees are very important for our environment, especially more now than ever. But sometimes you just can't get a beekeeper out quick enough or a beekeeper who is even willing to get into an attic space where you have to have a bee suit on. And if you've never been in an attic, it's not something where you can easily just walk all the way across. You have to be very careful because you could fall right through the ceiling, land in someone's bedroom or something. So it's very tricky, especially when you're wearing a bee suit and you're carrying equipment and it's probably like over 100 degrees. But yeah, that one was a pretty tricky one. There's a beehive in there and it was just, you know, the folks couldn't enjoy their backyard because they were swooping by the pool and up into the vent, and it was just a tough one and it's tricky.
And not to mention wanting to get them taken care of quickly because you're in the attic, so you don't want bees flying around inside your house.
Yeah, that one was I was a little nervous because, you know, attics are tight spaces. You can't get to the locations, you know, as easily. So you have to get creative and say, what can I use to make sure we're going to, you know, treat this effectively and it's not going to cause more of an issue. So when I was up there, I was like, oh God, I hope this doesn't turn into a grenade. And, you know, and the machine I'm using is adequate enough to reach the hive. But yeah, thank God everything went smooth and it was easy treatment. But I was worried. My heart rate must have been racing like at 180 beats per minute.
Ooh.
Yeah, a lot of adrenaline when you're dealing with stuff like that.
Man.
Yeah.
You know, I have a side question. Okay. And, you know, you think about the answer and stuff. So have you dealt with any creatures, critters, flying insects, whatever, that you don't like personally and on the job? And how do you deal with that?
Wow. I think it's more so the situation that comes with different types of pests. For instance, you know, sometimes we get calls that there's a raccoon or something in an attic or underneath a house. And a lot of people think it's a situation where you go in there and like grab it, and it's not how it's done. And especially in areas where there essentially isn't an attic space that you can get into because it's a really low ceiling. Those are really tricky. We actually have to utilize different methods like actually using like a coyote urine. We spray it in different sections of the vents, and then we use what's called like a one-way door where the rodent or whatever's stuck in there can leave through that one hole but can't enter. That's probably not like my least favorite because it's like almost like a shot in the dark. You know, you're just hoping that the spray works. they follow this one way and they leave. The other things I think that really still kind of disgustes me, even though I still been doing this for such a long time, is roaches, German roaches, the ones that invade your kitchens and your appliances and coffee machines, all that stuff. That stuff, I've been doing it forever, and it still makes my stomach feel pretty nasty. That's probably why I only eat like once a day, because I see a lot of nasty stuff throughout the days. When I get home, I'm like, I can still smell them, you know?
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, that stuff it gets pretty bad. You're pulling refrigerators and you see just an army of roaches crawling up the wall, up to the ceiling, and before you know it, you can hear them drop the floor, and it is raining roaches.
Hey,
Literally.
buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey. Why are you entering our home?
Yeah. And that stuff is really hard because those roaches, they will be here beyond us. Even if we got hit with this crazy atomic bomb, they will be here, and they can thrive. They fit into the smallest cracks and crevices. And especially with those type of pests, people think that, you can treat it with one treatment or one product, but it's actually, that's not the case. It's a lot of investigation, a lot of what's called integrated pest management, which means finding ways to, remove things in the house or in the kitchen that's causing them to continue to thrive. So like if there's excessive food in the house or there's like a leaky water pipe somewhere, we want to make sure we address those situations. But yeah, it's a lot of work getting rid of German roaches. So if you ever think you have a roach in your kitchen or anywhere like that, don't think it's just one. It's probably a couple of them, and they can multiply very quickly.
Oh, man. Julio, you're bringing me back to the story that, Mike and I, we went to one of our friends' apartments in L.A., downtown.
Ooh.
Oh, it wasn't downtown. Sorry, the Valley. And it was very hot. Yeah, Mike's like cringing right now.
Yeah.
Roaches are not his cup of tea. He can stand bugs. I personally don't like bugs, but he's more, he doesn't mind bugs as much as I do, but roaches are his nasty whatever. So anyway, so they had roaches in their apartment, and on the carpet, you could see, anyway, it was not good.
No, especially when you go in there to do your business in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
no.
And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, dude, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
And then when you're about ready to get done doing what you're supposed to do, to turn around and flush the toilet, and it's one sitting right there on that little, hey,
my gosh.
you're not going to touch this, are you?
Oh my
God.
You're not going to, no.
What's that, Joe's apartment?
More than Joe's apartment, Joe's building. That's what it was.
Oh my gosh.
And you feel like you're, held up by them. You're like, you don't want to move because you don't know where they're going to go. And you're like,
Say hello to my widow fan.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important to have the pests taken care of. And that's why you guys are so important to the community and the residents, because, oh my goodness.
I think I can one-up Julio here. My least favorite pest, and one I have dealt with personally, and it's not just a cute thing to say before you go to bed. As the old adage goes, don't let the bed bugs bite.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Bed bugs are a real thing,
Yes.
and they are not fun. And they're similar to the German roaches. They get into everywhere.
Yeah.
They were in the plugs, the molding. They get in between all the tight crevices, anywhere. And it's nothing worse than trying to go to bed and knowing something's gonna be crawling on you in the middle of the night and sucking your blood.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And not to mention, normal prices to deal with bed bugs can range to ridiculous sums. Like I think I got quotes for like $4,000, $5,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really specialty treatment. It's really the only way to deal with them, or if it's a real infestation, is through what's it called? Heat.
Well, there's two things you can do. It's called like a heat treatment. They pretty much, bring in these hot machines. They turn up the heat to kill them. They're using heat to kill bed bugs. That, or they even can fumigate the house, what you normally would see with a tent around the exterior of the house. But the crazy thing with that, when you fumigate for bed bugs, it's actually 3 days to fumigate. So they're pumping these gases inside the house to kill them.
Wow.
I'll tell you this much. You think termites would be harder to kill?
Wow.
It takes 2 days for fumigation for termites and 3 days for bed bugs.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's why a lot of people actually go through and burn their stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's kind of a common joke within the pest world. I just burn it.
yeah.
Yeah, just burn the
burn
house down.
Oh my gosh.
And for anybody else that's listening, do not step on a roach.
Yeah.
Because if you step on a roach, that just creates more eggs.
Yeah, it's nasty. A lot of the roaches carry their eggs until they're like almost ready to hatch. Yeah.
And be careful. Bed bugs are hitchhikers.
Yes.
Yes,
So-
they are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So don't think it's a status thing, like,
Right.
oh, you're a dirty person or something like that. There's like a stigma behind it, but it's not. You could easily go to any hotel, 5-star hotel, and pick them up. It's
Yep.
it literally just takes one night laying in the wrong spot. Or also be wary of picking up any kind of used furniture. They could be hiding in there as well. And next thing you know, you have a bed bug infestation. So
Well, not just that. I mean, bed bugs can be anywhere. They can be in cars, especially if people are doing like Lyft services and Uber services.
Yep.
You don't know who's getting back there. Movie theaters. That's one too that people don't think about. Trust me, you probably don't ever want to see a movie theater with like a really bright flashlight.
moral of the story. Moral of the story: don't go anywhere. Stay home.
Yeah, just
Yes,
stay
that's
home.
what I hear. That's what I hear, Daniel.
Good thing we're homebodies.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Now, why should someone use professional pest control services versus doing it ourselves? And what's the difference between over-the-counter pest control products versus what the professionals use? And this is a very good question because I was going to ask that. We do our stuff, DIY, not DIY, but we buy our stuff from like Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. So very good question.
First thing I'll say is go ahead and try.
Try it, buddy.
And then we'll be waiting by the phone. No, I'm just kidding.
Now, in most cases, if you don't have like an active severe infestations, you can probably get rid of an ant trail, maybe keep the spiders down to a minimum. But really the way to kind of simplify it, just like the way I tell all my customers, is like the products we have, we can only get these products by being licensed professionals. Essentially what I'm trying to say is like, you can buy over-the-counter medicine, but when you really need the strong stuff, you go see the doctor. That's kind of, in a sense, how it is with us. We have products that have much longer residual time and faster killing time. And then not just that, but there's different types of products out there. There's products that are tailored more for different types of pests. There's non-repellent products that you would use for, like, colony-based pests like ants. And then there's repellents that you would use more on a maintenance for like spiders or any other bugs, right? To kill a lot quicker when they aren't really associated to a colony. And then you have like flushing agents, for a quicker knockdown for the German roaches and stuff like that. But yeah, our stuff just lasts a lot longer and it's just more potent.
Good.
And I have another side question. As we're talking, I'm processing all that information and seeing how, as us consumers, would how all this information you're giving us would apply to us as like regular people. So a lot of people have dogs, cats, animals, goats. I mean, not goats in the house, but
That would be cool.
You never know.
well, you never know. That's right.
My house goat.
How would you deal with the animals when you're providing the service like that? How does that affect them?
Okay, so we do ask folks to keep their pets away from the treated areas until everything is dry. Everything is completely safe after everything is dry. Remember, the products that we use have to go through strict regulation before it even gets on our into our trucks to use. Especially in California, where we're super regulated. I mean, these companies spend millions of dollars to get things approved here, and it has to be safe. They can't just give products out that are going to cause problems more than solutions. But yes, all the products that we have, majority of the labels will say stay away from the treated area until it's dry. We've never had any problems with anybody's pets or anybody like, hey, this stuff is making us feel weird. But really, from what I've pretty much gained after the last 10 years, is your pest control service is really going to be as safe as the person applying it. That's key. Because, I mean, not everybody's perfect, and everybody's workspace, there's probably somebody who's not following the guidelines and thinks they can add a little extra thinking it's going to help, or applying a product where you're not supposed to, like in a garden, since someone's eating, basil that are grown in the backyard. Like, that's really key. You really want to get to know your technician and know that he knows his thing, know that he's applying it in a safely manner. That's probably the biggest thing to look out for when you're hiring a pest control professional.
It's important to not mix your own product. Like if you do have some Home Depot stuff, you don't want to be spraying over what we put down. because the effects of the two pesticides mixing could have a negative effect and basically nullify all the effects, and then it's worthless.
That's definitely something interesting to think about too, because you see all the different kinds of really DIY stuff, like chemicals that are like natural or like vinegar and things like that, and even mixing bleach and vinegar together creates a bad toxic environment.
Sure does,
bleach in itself is very strong.
Yeah.
So even mixing those kind of quote unquote safe, or everyday use chemicals create such a huge toxic
fumes.
air.
Fumes and everything else that goes along with it.
I believe Windex is more dangerous than
Wow.
like.
Well, yeah. If you take a look at like the basic products that you have, like cleaning products, it all has a signal word, right? Which is going to be warning, danger, or caution. Our products have the same type of signal words, but most of the stuff we have, it's not as strong as you would like applying bleach. Bleach is actually more dangerous than the pesticides that we carry in our trucks.
Important thing to mention when a lot of people have like a fear or stigma on pest control, when you have products in your home that are already just as or more dangerous. So
wow.
Again, it all comes to application,
Right.
and who's doing it, like Julio said.
How are you applying it and where you're applying it.
And I was also going to mention too, like it's another important thing of why you'd want to pick a professional, because someone we know had rat bait. They had rats in the yard, and they just scattered the bait openly in the yard, which you're not supposed to do. And unfortunately, the dog ate it. Thank God he's still okay, but he did get sick. And that's another thing. If you're a professional, that's not how you do that. You get a rodent bait station, which is tamper proof, pet proof, so that it's it's a safe application. So
wow, that's a story in itself. To be careful, because I personally wouldn't think I would know that. Okay, maybe that's not the best way to do it, because if we have dogs, animals, chickens, horses, whatever, like being out here where we're at, our neighbors got chickens running up and down the road and stuff. They're loose, so you can't just toss them all willy-nilly and expect nothing bad to happen around in your environment.
Because chicken's like, ooh, food.
I know.
Exactly.
Oh, it tastes a little weird.
Yeah,
a little chemically.
weird.
Yeah, let me keep eating it.
Exactly.
And
and a lot of the bait that's used has like for example, like peanut butter content to make it more palatable for rats. So if a rat's gonna think it tastes as good, I'm sure a lot of the other wildlife they're gonna think they scored on some leftover peanut butter or something.
But just to get rid of a little bit of fear there, I believe Julio could touch on this, that the bait we're forced to use in California for rodents is pretty pet safe, right? Or
yeah, I mean, just
in a
this,
sense.
Yeah, just this year, 2024, we got regulated big time with the rodenticides because they were finding it in a lot of wildlife. Like coyotes,
From
owls, hawks. But again, I honestly do feel it's because of the way that it's being applied. Because we're supposed to put these baits in a tamper-proof bait station that's supposed to either be staked or anchored to the ground, and can only be opened with a special key. I really do feel it's people who are just like throwing it stuff out in the field and just making it easy for anybody to pick up. But yeah, now we have baits where it takes a lot longer for the rats to die before they can eat like one little block, and and that would be it. Now it's like a multi-feed. They have to go back multiple times and eat like 4 or 5 packs.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just for everyone's information, the new rodenticide that we have is not transferable if a cat or dog were to eat the rat. So it's not transferable from eating the rat.
Yeah, that was another big thing they were saying.
That's nice. That's good.
Yeah, the rats were eating, the bait, and then a hawk or whatever will find the rat and then ingest the poison as well.
Right. Wow.
Oh,
So
good.
it won't hurt other wildlife that it's not intended to eat.
Correct.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the technology right there, because you
Yeah.
would think that if the rat ate the bait and kills it eventually, then you would think that the hawk that eats the rat, before it dies,
Yeah.
if the hawk eats the rat, you would think the hawk would get sick too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's amazing technology.
Yeah.
Good. That's
Wow.
very good. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good.
That's awesome.
So at least roosters are always going to be good. They won't be like.
No. And,
His last crow.
roosters are actually pretty cool, and chickens, like they're your own pest control in itself.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
they
yes.
sure are.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I've heard some stories and seen some videos of some chickens like gang banging on a rat trying to eat their food. Like they literally went over and attacked the guy.
We're
Yeah.
working on Savior roosters and chickens.
Yeah.
But coming soon.
And the same thing there too is for snakes. snakes will actually eat rats too.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
So if you have a snake, it's actually a good friend and
Yeah.
a good thing to have as a resident.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh,
You need,
my
you
goodness.
need those natural predators.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now with the way things are kind of going with the rodenticides. I'm actually kind of afraid of it being completely banned because I feel like we may end up like how we hear the stories in New York where they're just everywhere, the rats.
Oh,
Ooh.
I'm like, I really hope that's not the case with us. But we actually try to educate folks with, doing other like preventative measures. What can you do to not make it welcoming for rats to be close to your house? And there's a lot that you can do around a house.
we have a whole colony of cats outside, so
There
we're
you go.
blessed for our cats,
Yes,
even
we
though
are.
they procreate. But they're doing the neighborhood a good cleaning too. They're
There you go.
working there, and we only feed them once or twice a day, so we
There
make
you
sure. Before, I felt really bad, and I would feed them like 3 times a day,
Oh.
and then we we were down to one cat.
One cat.
One cat, and
When-
she was kind of getting lazy, too spoiled, freaking cat.
Yep.
And then we started getting an infestation of squirrels.
We had
here.
50 to 75 squirrels
Wow.
a day.
It was
Wow.
ridiculous because
That's nuts.
yeah, we yeah, and the reason why we had all these squirrels was because we were setting food out for the cat.
Yeah.
And my thinking was, oh man, and you would see the squirrels, like they would run up to the window of the door, our French doors, and look like, where's the food? We
Yep.
ran out of food because we took all the food. Where's the food?
They put their little paws on the
Yeah.
glass and looking in
Wow.
like, well, open, 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 open.
Yeah, having an
Deny that little
attitude.
Yeah.
And then fortunately, word got out in the neighborhood, more cats were coming. And so they saw all the squirrels. And then eventually the squirrels got wind that there's more cats now. And so now we don't have a problem with squirrels. Thank goodness.
And you know what, to add to that, I've go to houses where there's like rats in the house and they're like, why do I have, rats in the house? My cat's not doing anything. They're like, we need to get another cat. I'm like, look, maybe stop feeding your cat so
Right.
much. You need
Yeah.
to make your cat scavenge for food. You
Yeah.
make it turn into that predator that it should be, right?
Yeah.
Out there scavenging. So by
Stop
doing
giving them
that,
fancy feast.
yeah,
Yeah.
So if you start to notice more rodent activity around the block here around the house, don't feed the cats so much for a couple of days, and I bet you they're gonna clean up the place for rodents.
Sure would.
I'm very guilty of that. I'm a cat mom. I'm a fur mom, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, a meowther, yes. And Mike's a potter.
Yeah, Potter.
So
There you go.
I feel bad for the cats, obviously. I feel
Yeah.
bad already that they're outside in the
Yeah.
elements because I think everybody should be inside, whatever. But then I want to feed them more because, there's like 15 cats out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, so I have to tell myself, they're natural predators, Phoebe. They can find food, they
Yeah.
can forage, they can,
yeah.
do what they're supposed to do. So I just have to remind myself. And then I wonder and ask Mike, how come they're getting spoiled on the dry food? They don't like, I just said that to him this
Yeah.
morning
I know.
because I'm feeling bad. So then I got to remember they got food out there. There's
Yeah.
a whole grocery store out there for
Oh,
them.
yeah.
That's right. If
Fresh.
they want something different than the food what we're giving them,
Oh,
they
yeah.
can go out and get it.
That's
Fresh
right.
food out there.
That's right.
Organic. Oh, my goodness.
Cage free.
Cage free. That's for sure. So now, what are some tips a home or business owner can do to prevent these pest infestations besides having cats, snakes running out there, chickens? What else can they do?
I think for residential homes, what we can do is actually pay attention to how much overgrowth that there may be around the house. So if there's like too many trees like touching the roof of the house or just thick shrubs and you're noticing a lot of rodent activity, you would want to trim a lot of stuff down. Or things in the yard that hasn't been moved yet, like often like a stack of pallets or just clutter. Really, decluttering helps out a ton for rats and a lot of bugs. Same thing when it goes to ants. I was at a house recently where they had some really big ants and their weeds were pretty tall, like up to my knees, and they're like asking me, please get rid of these ants. I'm like, I'll try my best, but typically we want to find the mounds, we want to follow the trail, see how far it goes. It was just impossible. So it does a lot of you have to do your own part. You got to keep the yard clean, declutter every once in a while. Wood piles is a big one. People like to stack them against the house. I'm like, if you have a stack of wood, put it further away from your house because I always find rat nests inside wood piles and stuff like that. For commercial, I would say same thing. Stay on top of your staff. I've gone to places where they don't throw the trash out at night or mop the floors as often. Too much grease in between machines. Drains, something they don't get cleaned as often. You start getting those little gnats and drain flies and all that stuff. But really, it's just being clean and staying on top of things helps out a ton. Keeping doors closed, making sure there's door sweeps at the bottom because a lot of pests and rodents can sneak their way underneath door sweeps.
Keep all their stock up off the floor too.
That's a big one, and don't have it outside.
Don't have it outside.
Seen that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of situations, I would call it, that I'm like, wow, why is this outside? This needs to be stored in a refrigerator or something. You know?
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's truly a team effort, you know.
Yeah.
It's not just on us, it's on the homeowner or business owner as well. If you don't maintain your property, then you're really just asking for it. You know, you're providing the conditions that they want to thrive. Really, the only way to get through that is remove the conditions.
Right.
You know, so also part of the IPM, you know, conducive conditions.
Right.
That's right.
Yes. I know having like a stagnant water outside, you know, we got cats, got dogs out there in the yard, keeping the water kind of stagnant creates that environment for gnats and, you know,
mosquitoes.
Yeah,
Big time
mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes are the bigger problem with standing water. And they can be, they only need about a cap full of water to lay eggs in. So can you imagine if someone's out there with Home Depot buckets or tires that are just sitting in the yard? I see it often. It's
Old
just
water fountains.
Old water fountains that don't work anymore, and there's just larvae of mosquito in there. It's just a breeding source. So staying on top of things like that after it rains would help out you and your neighbors.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we don't want flies, gnats everywhere. Oh, my goodness. It's definitely taking care of that
A
environment.
plague.
Oh, my gosh.
Too bad we ain't got frogs around here. They'd eat them all up.
That'd be nice.
So one last question that I have, what problems can pests cause if they aren't taken care of promptly or properly? And what kind of health risks are there?
Well, one I'll touch base on as far as structurally. I think this one's actually just as important as health risks because I've gone to homes where, you know, they rats chewed a water line, a PEX line, and it's a whole ordeal because it turns into a very small leak and then it bursts into something bigger. And by the time they know that it was a rat, a plumber's already there fixing the pipe and they're inspecting it to see how it broke. But what happens is I've seen people where they have to replace a lot of drywall because how much water leaked everywhere. So you got mold issues. And then you have to relocate your family to do all the bioremediation, right? Where they have to remove everything, replace some of the insulation. A job that would have cost you maybe a couple $100 to fix the rodent problem, and now it's costing people $5,000 to $10,000 and dealing with insurances because of leaks. So that's another one, structural problems, right? They can chew your plumbing, they can chew your air duct system, electrical, that type of thing.
We're actually working on a dock right now, and that's a big one because if the rats get in any of the boats, and they chew on the wires or anything, you could be stranded at sea.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that one's a big tricky one because like it's docks, you know, it's kind of weird. Like why would you think rats would want to be close to docks, you know? But it's just one of those things. A lot of people leave food and stuff in their boats, and rats have a very good sense of smell. That's actually their strongest sense is smell. That and then health concerns. Do you want to talk about health concerns with cockroaches, Daniel?
Almost every insect, cockroaches. I say one of the biggest ones is mosquitoes because they're transferring stuff directly into your body with bloodstream. You know, malaria and this other big West Nile, like all that.
The Zika.
Zika, yeah. Those are huge everywhere concerns. But yeah, I mean, and then rodents, they carry a plethora of things you don't want in your home.
Even breathing in rodent droppings and urine can cause significant, health risk to you. Even cockroach droppings. That's a big one that I think a lot of people don't know. It actually can affect people with asthma. You know, it can cause a lot of respiratory problems. You can get a lot of like allergy symptoms when you have a lot of roach poop in the house.
My goodness, so much that this has been so informational too. So much information that I didn't realize would affect just a regular person. You know, and sometimes I don't know if people really realize, oh man, I got an infestation. I got a whole bunch of gnats. Why is the gnats here? I got a bunch of mosquitoes outside. Horse flies. We're kind of in a city rural area, so we got horses next door, chickens, goats, and stuff. Got huge horse flies flying around and stuff. Definitely taking care, doing the preventative care, having you guys spray, take care of the environment around us, and having it being safe for our animals too, our fur babies. That's really important.
That's right.
So this has been Savior Pest Solutions. We have Julio Contreras, the owner and operator, and Daniel Martinez, who is the secretary. And it is coming up to bug season. Things are warming up. Today is not so much. It's a little bit cool, but it's slowly starting to warm up. So don't hesitate any longer. Call Savior Pest Solutions for all of your exterminating needs. They serve the Inland Empire residents and commercial businesses. Call them at their office at 951-933-8463 or find them online on their website, SaviorPestSolutions.com, or even better yet, find them on Facebook at Savior Pest Solutions. Thank you guys so much. We had so much fun talking.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks for listening to the Mike and Phoebe Show on Alternative Twist Radio. If you missed any past episodes, just search the Mike and Phoebe Show or Alternative Twist Radio on any major podcast app.